And we're live. Good evening, everyone. It is Friday, March 24th, just after 8 p.m. And I see a lot of friendly folks in the chat already. Brad Palmer, Wesley, Marie Palmer, Yogi. Happy birthday. Belated birthday, Yogi. Yesterday was Yogi's birthday. Sheena Upstate. New York Bob, Jamie 1985, Stephen Collins, Who's Ja, Jacqueline, Zach McNally, Shiv Boleyn, Uncle Buck is here. Novell Koss has made an appearance. Michael Nguyen, Travel Fun is here. What's up, Jeff? Brian? Kevin K, 1399, watching from Toronto. Glad to be catching you live. Kevin K, thank you so much for your support and the 1399. Getting tonight off to a good start. In fact, I could just end the stream right now, and it's pretty much
watching from Toronto. Eyes, glad to be Kathing you live. Thumbs up.
Could be a win. Thank you, Kevin. No, I'm not outside. I did an outdoor live stream yesterday with Henry from Toronto Tech and Transit. That one, I ended up walking a fair bit, and I made a few videos yesterday, so I just kind of took it easy today. I know in less than 2 weeks I'm going away and I need to start building up videos, but man, I just couldn't get myself to go outside. Travel Fun says Kevin K is your channel manager. Awesome. Speaking of which, there might be an appearance on this channel, hopefully in the coming weeks by Travel Fun 69. So look forward to that. I don't think we have everything set in stone, but it looks like there might be a little bit of overlap in our schedule while we're traveling, so we're going to try to make that happen. Speaking of which, a really good deal for a hotel fell in my lap today. So I switched one of my hotels and I ended up saving a few $100. And then I went down the rabbit hole of, well, in my mind, I'd already spent that money. So I then started looking at upgrading other hotels that I stayed at, that I'm going to be staying at. And I'm an idiot. I just need to book hotels that don't offer free cancellation, because now I'm playing this stupid game of like, well, you've now got a little more money than you thought you did. Why don't you get a better hotel? You can get a better video. So I've literally spent my entire day in like Agoda and TripAdvisor, and I've got nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing to show for it. So on that note, cheers everyone. If you can't tell, this is going to be a lazy stream where I kick it from home. So if it's not your cup of tea, shit. I am now soaking wet. I did not shake this. Who's just says, damn, you're going again recently after coming back. I am covered. So what I'm going to have to do is step aside for a moment. Laura is here. Hello, Laura. I've got a giant wet spot. My sweater is soaked. I think the sweater might be salvageable. Let me fire up a video. So since I've been so lazy this week and I haven't gone out and done a lot of recording for the background videos, which I like to play on these Friday night lives, I found a couple of old ones from travels. We have 500 Japanese yen. Thank you, arigato, so much for the 500 Japanese yen. All right, I'm really soaked here. Thank you. So what I'm going to do, I went on a trip in like 2018 to Korea and to Taipei, and I had a whole bunch of videos made, and I uploaded a few of them. I didn't upload Travel Fun 69, $11, beer ups. Cheers to you. Oh man. Yeah, so I'm just going to play one of those videos now while I go clean up. I may have played one of these before on the Stumbles channel. What do you guys want to see first? Let's do a quick poll. What's first? So while we chat and hang out, literally anything goes on these streams. I like to play stuff in the background. I'm already waiting. What do you guys want to see? Which video first? I'm going to play both of them anyways, so this really doesn't matter. I'm just sitting here in a puddle of beer for no reason. As a message rolls in of somebody laughing at me. Korea is winning. All right, I'm going to end the poll. Thanks for voting, folks. We're going to start with a video through Korea. Thank you again for the super chats. Travel Fun, Kevin, and a name in Japanese I can't pronounce. I'll be back in a second. Do I got enough volume here? I can just blast the volume on this and I'll cut the music. I'll be back. Wesley, 99 cents. Celebrate the first super chat from Wesley T. Thank you. I've never had to do, like, let me crank that volume down, a complete change before on a home live stream. Like, my pants, even what was underneath the pants, soaking wet. I guess you would call them underpants. Good job, dumbass. My t-shirt, my sweater. So we are completely changed. Shivlin says, Arm Transit achieved 200,000 subscribers. Awesome. Cheers to him. I guess I should wipe off my beer, too. Sorry, guys. Not a very slick start. Wesley, paid with your Apple gift card. Speaking of Apple, I have a little bit of news involving Apple, which I'm looking at right now. Joseph says, I'm coming in blurry. What's blurry, me or the background video? I look fine on my monitoring, or the other monitor. I can't speak. Oh my god. Anyways, you wear underpants under your pants. It's so traditional. If you're new to these streams, literally anything and everything goes. Just hang out, chat amongst yourselves. Feel free to ask me literally anything. I don't care if it's a stupid question. I might answer it anyways. I might not. It's up to me to decide. So I got some new things today. One item is going to come in handy for my trip. Chris Mills asks, did I hear about the Linus Tech Tips hack? Yeah, somebody took... Yeah, his channel got hacked, but they didn't actually hack the channel as much as they temporarily took it over with a session token. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. He's got a channel or a video on his channel about that. So earlier today, a viewer who wants to remain anonymous gave me a gift. So I want to kind of show it off because it's not an insignificant gift. It's pretty awesome, actually. What I have in my hand is AirPods Pro 2. Brand new AirPods Pro 2. I gotta say, the noise canceling on these things is unreal. It is better than my over-the-ear Sony headphones. And they work flawlessly with my Android phone and even better with my iPhone. So I'm going to be taking these on my trip on the plane. I'm going to be using them quite a bit, actually. They're really comfortable. So yeah, thank you to anonymous fan out there who just out of the goodness of their heart said, I want you to have something, and they did. So thank you. You wanted to remain anonymous, but if you see me rocking AirPods and you go, that's very unlike you, Johnny. Yeah, I'm going to give them a try. They sound quality, they don't quite hold up to my Sony's, but Apple is notorious for not having great sound quality, but they're still pretty good, and the noise canceling is phenomenal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying these on the stream. Another new item, you might have remembered, I broke the control stick off of one of my cameras. So now I had no control sticks. Shivlin says, AK is back in New York City. Well, he is. Guess what came in the mail today? Don't ask how much I paid for it. These are out of stock everywhere except one very overpriced supplier. But it drove me nuts recording without it, so I got a new one of these. So my camera is now controllable again. So yay for me. And since we're in the topic of shit that just came in, I got this today too. A body fat scale. I really just wanted a scale, but this one like hooks up to my like phone through an app in my Fitbit. So yeah, I got a new scale, and apparently I am 0.1 away from being a fat ass. My BMI is like 24.9, and at 25 and over, it's like you're overweight. So I'm right on the cusp of being that. Although BMI is bullshit, right? Like if you're, well, it's bullshit if you're muscular, because it kind of doesn't take into account the fact that muscle weighs a lot more than actual fat. But as a non-muscular person, I think that is applicable to me. Ernie K, $13.99. Thank you, Ernie K, for the support and the $13.99. Thank you again, Ernie. Connie says, lol, you're not fat. Wait till I come back from my trip. The last week of my trip, I'm basically just going to be drinking morning to night. So wait till you see till then before you reserve judgment. Upstate New York Bob was going to ask if that was the scale, but you thought it, if it wasn't, that show how bad you are at technology. Chris Mills says, moral of the story, yeah, don't, if you're going to open up a link or anything that gets sent to you in what could be a fishy email, do it in a sandbox. And if you don't know what a sandbox is, or you don't know how to make it, don't even try. I actually have another computer that's offline and doesn't have me logged into any of my accounts. So if I was going to do that, yeah, but I get tons of emails from people like with sponsorships, and there's like PDF links that are actually executables, like it'll be .pdf.exe. Yeah, that's definitely a red flag. Or if they want me to install their app or their software, that's also bullshit too. There's a lot of people saying, here, try our VPN, and then if you like it, we'll sponsor you. Well, when you run that VPN, you're actually just running like a script that's going to scrape your computer and send them all your login info and all that shit. So yeah, don't open shit on your computer, especially not if you're like a YouTuber and you have a lot to lose. Wesley says, looks like I'm not the only one to send my first super chat. Yeah, that's a new feature I think they just baked in. Anyways, we are walking from Gangnam. I believe I started this right in front of Shinnonyeon Station, and I am walking to Garasagil, which is like a famous and kind of beautiful. That's not a word I say about places, but anyways, it is a tree-lined street. It's like a famous shopping street. It's kind of like their Fifth Avenue. It's pretty nice, and this is just my walk from point A to point B. This was back when I didn't know what I was doing, and I would hold the camera in a way that it was like pointing up too high. Am I even like, I don't even. Anyways, yeah, I used to live like very near where I started recording this video. And it looks like I'm going into the underground across the street. Oh, there is Nonhyun Station. So I started at Shinnonyeon, and now we're at Nonhyun. Shin means new. So Shinnonyeon is like new Nonhyun. Anyways, Andrew Bell says, next driving video, Johnny. Probably not till I get back. I just don't have a car right now. I'm not even going to get my bike tire fixed until I get back. I have to start planning out the videos I'm going to be making. So yeah, too much on the go. But I will definitely get a car and do some road trips when I get back. Travel Fun says you get them daily. Scary. Don't forget to check his channel out. And again, there might be some collabing going on. Still haven't thought of a better word than collab, as much as I hate that. Jacqueline S. has family and soul. Vivian says, if Johnny does a walk for Earth Day, who will watch if we all turn off every device and light? Alexa, when is Earth Day? Saturday, April 22nd. I think I'm going to be on an airplane on Earth Day. The Velcos says, are there any cars over there other than Hyundai? Yes, there's Kia. What the Korean government does, it's kind of smart, is they're super protectionist. So if you want to import a car, like a Japanese car or American car or European, whatever, the tariff on it is so huge that you're basically getting ripped off. The only reason you import a car in Korea is you want the status symbol of being able to show everyone, look, I've got so much money, I can just burn it by driving an import, which achieves the goal. And a lot of people do that. They still get BMWs. You'll see like Ford Mustangs driving around, which is weird. But it has the net effect of like really supporting their local industry, like Hyundai and Kia. And I think Daewoo is still kicking over there, even though that's a GM brand. So that's the reason why you see mostly Korean cars. The other thing you'll notice is like they have the most boring ass taste in colors of cars. Everything's like black or white or silver. There's almost no other colors for cars, but that's just the way it is over there. Marge says, golden rule, do not shout at Alexa. Yours gets so mad at me. Sorry about that. Travel Fund says, same as Thailand. It's way too much money to drive an imported car. Novell Cost just saw a Bimmer. Jennifer says you get a Genesis instead. Canwell asking the real questions. What am I drinking? I'm drinking what's left of a 4-track IPA from a Toronto-based brewer. This is from Radical Road Brewing on Queen Street East in Leslieville. Jacqueline has had, I believe you haven't been to Korea since 2008. I lived there 2007 to 2013. Went back on this trip, and I'm hoping to go back this year, actually. Stay tuned to the channel for more on that. Earth Hour is different from Earth Day. Jacqueline could ask their relatives what they drive. Keith says, have you ever owned a car? I have owned my Mercury Topaz, my 1989 Mercury Topaz, which I then upgraded into an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, which lasted a very long time. And then I bought a brand new Pontiac G6 GT, a pretty decent brand new car for like a 25-year-old. The reason I went with GM was I just had like $10,000 off. Like, it was ridiculous. I had my student discount. I had all my points on my Visa card. It was just, and I bought it like the last week of December. It was just like the timing was right to buy an American car, so that's why I did. Novell says, Johnny, instead of a collab, why not say partnership or featuring a co-star? There's an idea, Novell Cost. You certainly have a lot of ideas. Not many of them are good, but you have a lot of ideas. Just kidding. Chris Mill says Topaz, sweet. Yeah, I had a Mercury Topaz. My best friend in high school had a Mercury Topaz. And another guy we knew had a Ford Tempo, which was like the same car, only slightly shittier somehow. Aunt Barb says, how is traveling in Seoul with only speaking English? It's easy. All the road signs are like Korean and English. The subway is fully in English, including the announcements. Cab drivers aren't really going to understand you, but if you just have your destination written down and show it to them, they'll drive you in a nice loopy, long-ass way to get there because they know they can rip you off. But yeah, Seoul is fine. I would definitely not hesitate to go there without knowing anything about the local language. You'll be fine. Even like the restaurants, like the menus and stuff, half the shit's in English. So I think you'll be fine. Chris Mills can't say much. He had an escort. Jacqueline says, many people know English now. It's hard to communicate with your Korean relatives. Gordon Freeman, the Cutlass Supreme was my dad's first car. My Cutlass Supreme was like a 95, bright red Cutlass Supreme. It was like a pretty solid car. And I got that car because a school bus rear-ended my Topaz.
The Cutlass Supreme was my dad's first car.
Thank you for the $5, Gordon Freeman. Funny story on that. I was sitting at a stop sign in my Ford Topaz, and I got rear-ended by a school bus, and it like crushed my car. And the driver was like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose my job. I'm fucked. And like the school bus had no damage. I was driving a car that was worth like $1,500. I'm like, you could just pay me for the car. I'll just buy a new one. So we skirted insurance, and I just took cash, and then I took that cash and I bought the Oldsmobile. So I got a better car out of it. Dude got to, maybe that was unethical of me to let a shitty school bus driver keep his job. But I was like 17, 18 or whatever. I didn't know any better. It worked. It is what it is, but I learned to negotiate. And that's more than what like my insurance would have given me for the car anyways. Novell says, what caused the accident? Brake failure? I don't know. But what's scary is I worked at a supermarket. I worked at a Loblaws, and someone had the same car that I had, like a 1989 Mercury Topaz. They were rear-ended, and the car blew up, and they perished in that accident. So, yeah, that happened after I got rear-ended. So, like, that wasn't going through my mind or anything. But, yeah, Kind of scary that type of shit can happen. Stephen Collins' first car was a Pontiac Grand Am. So you'll notice in the middle of the street they have like a busway, which is pretty efficient. You'll also notice absolutely no bike lanes. Seoul is one of those cities where the car roams free. They don't really give a shit about pedestrians or cyclists. It is what it is. They have an awesome transportation network, at least. Shivlin says, did you drive an EV before? No. I don't think I've ever driven an EV, actually. I rented a hybrid once, but that's about it. And we are at 200 viewers. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. These streams are always a little bit less attended, but they're also a little bit more relaxed than the normal ones. I think next Friday I'll probably get out and we'll get back out in the city and we'll have a big stream walking around. Just really wasn't feeling like that today. Velcos says you can rent a Tesla at Hertz. If I'm renting a car, I don't want to rent an electric car and have to worry about charging it. I'm renting it because I need to go somewhere far. And John Amir says Ford Pintos were notorious for catching fire from behind. Tom Bike saw a guy who seemed to be live streaming down Young north of Lawrence earlier. A guy who appeared to be live streaming? Live exploring. Live.
Good day, my beautiful friends.
Checking to see, was Henry in that area? Because I think he might have been live streaming. No, he was down south. I don't know who that might have been. I don't know anyone else who would have been out there live streaming today. Marge says, didn't you say the food is amazing in Korea? It's pretty damn good. Jacqueline went to Busan and Jeju Island. Daniel says, yeah, Action Kid, we've been in touch. He made it back to New York City, and I think he got a lot of videos out of his traveling. Johnny, you should do a video along Finch Avenue East and Woodside Mall. There's an idea, Shivelin. There's an idea. Korea's notorious for those scooters. Those things will mow you down on the sidewalk. They will not honk. They will not slow down. They will just keep going. You have to jump out of their way. That's just the way it is there. Jeanette asking, did I drink much soju in Korea? A fair bit. Mostly mikju, which is what they call beer, but not a lot of soju. I actually like makgeolli a lot more than soju. That's kind of the other traditional drink you see a lot of people drinking a lot of there. Johnny, are you going to attend the Finch opening? Ken plans to go. Novell Koss, fill me in. The Finch opening of what? What? I have no idea what you're talking about. Tom Bike says it wasn't Henry. Jacqueline says food delivery drivers have been around for a while. The coolest thing, the second time when I moved to Korea, I learned that you could order a McDonald's. You just call them once and have a Korean person tell them where you live, and then your phone number would save in their system. Then I would just literally call them up and be like, coffee juiceo americano. They'd go nay. Then I'd hang up. 10 minutes later, there would be a knock on my door, and there would be a guy with a coffee, and there'd be no delivery fee. They since changed it. Now there's a minimum order, so I'd pay $3, and this coffee would magically appear at my door, and then you try to tip the guy, and he refuses. And I was like, this is pretty magical. We're still not quite at their level of delivery service, but things have definitely got a lot better now in Toronto. Jeanette says, wow, that's efficient. Yeah, you could literally get anything delivered in Korea, and it would take no time at all. It's pretty awesome. JK says your Korean is impeccable. Smells magical is right. So my memory is a little foggy. I don't know where the hell we are, but I think this is Shinsa. I think that's where we are. Shinsa-dong. We're walking through there. This is kind of like their Yorkville-y kind of area, although this is a main street, so you can't really see a whole lot in there. Jennifer says, even when I was at the Hong River, the chicken delivery was fast. Yeah, I remember that, hanging out with people in like a park or at the Han River, and you would order food and it would just show up. Nelson says similar in Taiwan. Speaking of which, the next video coming up is from Taiwan. JK says Korea is amazing. Maybe there'll be some Korea coming soon on this channel. More Korea, 2023 Korea. Maybe it's one of the cities that, or one of the countries that I might be going to. But holy shit, in 12 days I'll be getting my ass on a plane. Keys to Jong says, where does the fascination for Korea come from? Well, I lived there for 5.5 years, but I think it kind of culturally became popular over the last several years. Jennifer says Seoul and Busan are the best cities. They're kind of, yeah, they're easily the two biggest cities, right? There's a lot of like mid-tier cities, but there's nothing even remotely close to like Busan and Seoul in size. Well, I guess Incheon, but Incheon's more of a suburb. Nelson says, Johnny, were you in Taiwan recently? I think 2018 was the last time I was there. Well, I was there very recently, but that was just in the airport doing a transfer. Sanjib says, hey Johnny, I'm looking to get a new job insurance and I will join your channel. Oh, thank you, Sanjib. Good luck with the job. Johnny Strides, if you're going to Korea, you should visit the Olympic venues in Seoul. Not only have I visited the Olympic venues in Seoul, I ran a 10K that started in the Olympic Stadium once, which was pretty cool. I was dating somebody and they were like, hey, do you want to run this 10K? And I was like, sure, that looks good. Broke up, completely forgot about it. 6 months later, got woken up at 6 a.m. Hey, I've got your race kit here. I'm in front of your apartment. I was like, what? We haven't even talked in months. What do you mean? I was so drunk, I was so hungover, and I had to go run a 10K. And I did it in under an hour. And that was probably the single greatest thing I've ever done in my lifetime. And that is that. Steven says these look like ginkgo trees on the street here. I think this is Garrisagil, like the famous tree-lined street. So that would make sense. WMD is off to Palm Beach tomorrow. Hope you enjoy. There's lots of videos on Action Kid's channel from around there. He's been doing the spring break thing. Lisa is here. Good evening. Jeanette says, trying to multitask, cooking dinner, watching Johnny, and watching NCAA Midwest Regional semifinals. You're exhausted. I'm exhausted reading that message, Jeanette. But I hope you have a good night doing all that. I hope you didn't get back with her after that. I pulled away very early in the race and just left her in my dust and just ran off. And I stopped at a convenience store and bought a Gatorade on my sub 1 hour 10K, which I thought was kind of impressive. And probably broke the rules. They did have like water stations, but whatever. Sean says, hey Johnny, hey Sean, what's up? So tomorrow I'm not going to live stream. I've got to meet some buddies. I'm going to a bar in the area, but I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 videos in the day. If you have any suggestions as to what you would like to see tomorrow or if anything's going on, let me know, because I've got absolutely nothing in my mind that I want to do. I've got nothing planned. I've got a few walks already kind of planned, but they're not really like weekend. They're like walks I could do anytime. So I don't want to use a weekend on them, so I'll figure it out. But let me know if you have any suggestions. Upstate New York Bob says, if I'm hungover and it's that early in the morning and you haven't spoken to that person in 6 months and they're outside wanting me to do a 10K, I'd be saying, you have fun with that. I'm good. I did pay for it though, I think. So I wanted to get my $50 worth. It was a New Balance 10K run. I still have like the New Balance shirt that I wore. Lisa says rainy as fuck tomorrow. Good. I could use some. If it's rainy, then just anywhere will do, right? I hope it's rainy tomorrow. Let me see. Toronto weather forecast. Ooh, rainy. Saturday, periods of rain or snow. 7 degrees. That'll be interesting. Anna Kay says maybe you should walk along Lake Ontario one day. I'm probably going to go back and do a live stream. Starting from downtown, maybe going over to like the Humber Bay Arch Bridge or something. Actually, that's a good idea. I'm probably going to do that on like a morning live stream next week. Maybe Monday or Tuesday. Yahia is here. Yahia is starring at the beginning of today's video. What's up, Yahia? Nelson says you're back in TO. I am now, but I will be leaving pretty soon. Jeanette says 10K is too hard for you. You're a sprinter. I'm a sprinter too. I cannot do long distance running to save my life. I damn near killed myself doing that 10K. Nabel says those trees are wearing sweaters. BHG says that intro was cute with the boys. We had Sapand, we had Alex Gets Around TO, and we had Yahia as well, and Ken. Adam L says, has anyone guessed correctly where you are going so far? Well, I gave 4 options, so a lot of people have correctly guessed where I was going. I put up a poll like a week ago at a live stream. But yeah, I'm not revealing it until I'm there. Naughty says you haven't cooked for a while. No, and I ordered Swiss Chalet tonight. Nivelle costs, the longest you've ever ran once was 13.4K. Took almost an hour. That's pretty damn good if you covered all that in an hour. Can't sleep. Did you see Biden's speech to Parliament? No, I was too busy booking more hotels that now I'm going to have to cancel a whole bunch because I have way too many. Oops. Kurtish says, Swiss Chalet. The Swiss Chalet guy was pissed at me. He was like, the code didn't work that you put in the app, and I couldn't find your name in the thing, so I couldn't buzz up to you. I'm like, are you lecturing me? Like, I looked in the app. I'm like, pretty sure that's my buzzer code. I'm pretty sure my name's like in the machine downstairs. I guess I'll double check both. Sorry about that. But he was like legitimately mad at me. Like, I was like, what, was the $4 tip not good enough? I don't know. I don't think he had a good time making his way up to my building or up to my unit. Gordon says, imagine going to an Apple store in Korea and can't use Apple Pay. The less people use Apple Pay, the better the world will be. Apple is inflating the cost of everything by taking way too big a share of every purchase done with Apple Pay. They're absolutely evil. So yeah, don't use Apple Pay. That's all I'll say on that. What is... Sanjib says, how much is a South Korean taxi ride? Whatever we pay here, it would be about a third of it. It's not very expensive. Not super cheap, but it's not that expensive either. Naughty saying, why are there blankets on trees? Where is that? I think it's just a part of town that's trying to be cool. I don't know. But there are like a lot of high-end retailers and that sort of thing here. Ellie says it's winter. This was actually late fall, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when this was. Have to be careful of taxis. Well, there's black taxis, which are more expensive, and then there's like the non-black taxis. Johnny, do you like Pepsi Zero? A bottle of drink sells for $1.25 at Dollarama, says Michael. I'm trying to stop drinking Diet Pop as well. This, I believe, used to be like an H&M on the right, that store. It's either that or H&M is just coming up. Yeah, I'm not going to be ordering any more Pepsi Zero for a while. Aldo, Canadian store representing. Why is my camera always pointed up so high? But we're almost at the end of the famous tree-lined street. There's a mango across the street on the right. Naughty says, where is this? It is Seoul. John and Jacqueline already answered. And I believe that big white building in the center of the screen there, or at least now it's on the left, is a public school, actually. Looks like people were displaying their crochet work. Also encouraging people to use cash. Cash is still king in Southeast Asia, at least. I don't know. In Korea, I think it's all tap pay. One guy opened a fake Tim Hortons in Korea once. When was that, Gordon? When was that? You'll see how those buildings have numbers on them, how that building on the top right has 22. Basically, when you're writing your address or when you're telling a taxi driver where to go, you give them like the name of the building complex you're in, and then the name of the region, and then the name of the bigger region, and then Seoul. So it's kind of like you go from big to small. But instead of having a street number and a street name like we do, they just have like a building name. So like you're literally saying, go to building 22 and blah, blah, blah complex. So that's why they have those giant numbers written on all their apartment buildings, because the taxi driver is going to get there. And he's got to look up and he's got to find your building number. And then he's going to know, oh, that's where I'm going. You can't just go to like 123 Novell Cost Street. Like that's not really a thing in there in terms of how they do their addresses. So that's kind of weird. And this video has 10 minutes left. Ellie Beach, she says, is it like that in Japan too? I don't think so. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think so. Seoul is a lot like Tokyo in that it was like bombed to hell during the war. So the whole city was kind of rebuilt all at once at the same period of time. And that's why it looks so homogenous and why you see so many of the same type of building. Just because when you build an entire city at once, almost overnight, you're not going to have a lot of variety or a lot of care and thought put into like the architecture. So that is a common complaint about Seoul that you'll hear, but it's very understandable. In Tokyo, exactly the same thing. That's why both cities kind of look the same everywhere you go, all over them. Yahia says, Johnny, you don't mind me and Alex joining you for a collab once you come back from your trip? We can talk about it. I'm sure we'll be able to work something out like that. I have no idea where I am. I'm around the corner from the street with all the trees on it. Trying not to get run over by a car. Again, notice how pedestrian friendly a lot of these streets are. Like, good effing luck if you're in a wheelchair. In this city, you are screwed, unfortunately. Like this yellow line here is literally telling pedestrians where to walk on the street with the cars. There's an Onakatsu, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, tiger. I have a pair of shoes. Those are ASICS shoes, but they're made and designed in Japan, so they're a little different. They're about 3 times the cost of normal ones. I have a pair of fake ones that I got in Cambodia as well. Upstate New York Bob says, this is an interesting walk. I almost deleted it. I was like cleaning out my hard drives. And I decided I'm just purging a lot of my old videos. I don't feel like buying more storage I have over 1,700 videos, by the way, so it's kind of a lot when they're all these massive 4K videos. So I'm literally just like deleting old videos. And I came across these and I was like, maybe I'll show them one more time on a stream before I delete them and banish them to non-existence forever. Jacqueline says, when I went there, I was the only white person there, even though you're half Korean. When was that? We called it like the whitey nod. Although, I mean, if you saw like a black guy, you would still do it. Whereas so I guess we called it the whitey nod, but really I guess it's the foreigner nod. Where when I first went there in like 2017 and you saw another person and they weren't Korean, you just kind of gave them a little nod, like yeah, we're in the club kind of thing. Kind of like when two people that drive like a rare car see each other, they do a little wave or a nod. We were literally doing that with like, hey, you're a white dude, awesome, I'm gonna smile and nod at you for no reason at all. Like that was such a thing there. I remember that. You couldn't walk down the street. I would like avoid making eye contact with other foreigners just so I didn't have to like do that little look and nod. I hope that's changed by now, because it's so awkward and everybody would do it. Like literally you couldn't walk down the street without having to do that. Jacqueline says, I can't live without rice. Naval Cost says, oh my god, that's the dumbest and funniest thing I've ever heard. Jamie used to wave at fellow Honda drivers, but nobody ever waved back. Maybe if you're both driving like a Honda Prelude or something kind of unique. But if you're just waving at some other dude in his Accord while you're driving like a Civic, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. One thing you'll notice, the exposure on this camera isn't very good. It kind of takes a while to go from dark to light. Fans Buses Gaming has been busy doing our room tour. Awesome. You'll notice, yeah, the camera's pointed up a lot. Most of their buildings are like 4 or 5 stories. They've got really good density in Seoul. I think I'm walking back out to Shinsa subway station, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, my camera's frozen for some of you. Oh. It is still frozen. Why are you frozen? I will try to resuscitate it. Still frozen. Let me see. Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. Nelson, hi, hey Johnny, consider coming to Taiwan again sometime. I can take you paragliding. You have a coffee shop bakery there. Paragliding sounds pretty intense, but I'm sure I'll go back to Taiwan. I don't know about later this year. But
Hey Johnny, consider coming to Taiwan again sometime. I can take you paragliding. I have a coffee shop / bakery there.
Thank you, Nelson, for your support. And yeah, I'd love to go back to Taiwan. You were in Taipei, Kaohsiung? What city are you there? I probably pronounced that wrong. So what happened? Why my camera froze? Was I using an iPhone as a webcam, and I flipped open the lid for my AirPods Pro, and it paired it to my phone, and it put a pop-up on the screen, and that for some reason caused my camera to freeze. Watch this. There we go. There we go. And now if I close it, it unfreezes. The magic to freeze my stream. All I gotta do is open up. Ooh, this time it's not happening. Oh, there we go. Upstate Pop says a new trick. Voila! We are back to life. That's weird. That is really weird. Thanks, Apple, for once again making everyone's life even more better. Gordon says, I love Apple even more. William says, how are you feeling today, Johnny? I am feeling well, feeling lazy. I didn't really go out and do anything today. I literally left my apartment to pick up these AirPods Pros and say thank you to a viewer, and that was it. Daniel says, party trick. Although they changed the software on this. Can I still do all the stuff I used to be able to do? Hey, I'm backwards now, and you can see part of my wall. I can do that. What is this? Stabilization? I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'll figure it all out. All right, so I know where we are. I think I'm about to turn left here and head back up to Shinsa Station. And we're going to end the video. This is one of the older style videos before I talked. Upstate New York Bob says, want to see me talk without moving my lips? Watch me open these iPods. Naughty Brown says, that's magic. When you coming to Britain? UK, Ireland, that whole area looks pretty awesome. A little bit... I don't know. I'm going to need like a hell of a good flight deal before I go there. Everything, all my travel is going to be based on value. I just doesn't make sense to not do it that way. Ali Bates, she says, what about Norway? Yeah, there's an idea. I mean, I did Amsterdam last year. That kind of... I know people are saying like, why are you always going to like Asia or like cheap places? Like, I literally have an awesome hotel room with like a killer rooftop pool for $42 Canadian a night, breakfast included, which I'm not going to eat, but breakfast is included. So like, where are you going to touch that value anywhere on like, and it's like a legitimate 4-star hotel. So yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm traveling. I love that part of the world. I love the food. I love the culture. I love exploring those cities, but also like, it's so affordable. Jeanette says, wow, nice deal. Yeah, look for, I don't know. I'm staying at so many hotels. I don't know if I should just do like one super hotel video where I just kind of show each one that I stayed at on my trip. I might do that. I show you like the hotels on my trip. But there is one hotel that's pretty neat that's going to get its own dedicated video. Shivlin says, there's a YouTuber in Norway called Bjorn Nyland who could help you around Norway. That's interesting. Bjorn Nyland. He's got 295,000 subscribers. He's not going to want to talk to me. And he seems to do a lot of like car related stuff. John Amir says, if you're worried about money, don't go to places like Paris. I would love to go to Paris, but I'm probably more likely to go to like Prague or like Budapest or something like that. Johnny, you should also visit Sampa or Mexico. I don't even know what you're talking about, Novell Koss. Sometimes I think you're just in your own little world talking to yourself. Anyways, now we're in Taiwan. Who can guess what city in Taiwan we're in? This is a nighttime walk around Taiwan. I think Nelson will probably already know it. As Bill and I would say, now you know. And this is it for the night. This is the last video that I have because I was too lazy to get out and make new Toronto material. If you do like this kind of format of stream, I do go live on my other channel on Sunday nights, and I'm going to try to do a Sunday Night Stumbles or two while I'm on vacation as well. I'm sure it is, Naughty Brown. It's just well, it'll come together in like a good deal, I'm pretty sure. Sheena only knows Taipei. No, this is not Taipei. This is not Taipei. Mikey G says Action Kid didn't talk in his older videos either. Why was it? Most walktubers don't talk in their videos. To my knowledge, he was the first one to start doing it. And when I was looking to differentiate what I do, I started talking too, just because it was different. I knew that was going to annoy a lot of people, but I was hoping that like the net result would be more viewers, or at least having a channel that was different, that had a touch of personality. And now most of the Toronto YouTubers do talk. Like Ken started talking, that my walk around guy, whatever happened to him, started talking. So it's just kind of something you can't avoid now if you're watching Toronto videos. Although Jerome Forstwood has a ton of walking videos from Toronto where he doesn't talk, at least not during the video. Johnny, ever consider doing a walk from Fairview Mall to Shepherd Young Station? Yeah, I have done that walk. And I almost did that live stream when Sapan came out, but I stopped at Bayview because I was having camera issues. Mike T tries not to talk in his everyday life as possible. Upstate likes my narration, teaches you about interesting points of interest. Cool. Glad you appreciate it. Sometimes I just regurgitate old info. Sometimes I look new stuff up. You never know what you're going to get. Nelson says, why not eat the breakfast? When I'm traveling, I like going to like local places. I'd rather go to like a pub or a restaurant or a cafe. And that way I don't have to like wake up before 10 a.m. So yeah, I almost never eat the hotel breakfast, actually. Except the standard hotel in Bangkok I did, because that was like a pretty fancy restaurant. Johnny, I met you on King Street when you were streaming on Tuesday. Yay. Awesome. Nice. I think I remember that. Nice to meet you and see you here. And I met a few people on the last stream as well while I was with Henry. Nelson says, looks like Kaohsiung. Yeah, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but that is exactly what this is. Taiwan's second big city, right? It's a lot sleepier than Taipei. There's a lot less to do. But it's still a pretty awesome city. A lot of awesome food. It's way less westernized than Taipei, like way less like KFCs and that sort of thing around. So if you're looking for like a more authentic big Taiwanese city, I think this is probably the better spot. Maybe you should consider doing it again, but not stream. Yeah, maybe Yahia. We'll put that for when I'm back from vacation. Sunjib says, hey Johnny, I have a video request. Can you make a walking video Dundas West to High Park North? Intersection where in Dundas West to what intersection in High Park North, Sanjib? Give me a more specific starting and ending spot and a route. And maybe we could make it happen. Tommy Surf says, I imagine Singapore would be too much money for you. I mean, if I really wanted to go somewhere, I'll go somewhere regardless of cost. But I'm looking to like travel a lot this year. Like a lot. I've already been on 2 trips. I'm looking to just keep doing it. And if at the end of the month, if I have less money in my bank account than I did at the start of the month, then I fucked up. I know when you're working a regular job and you've got like a week vacation and you take it, that you're probably going to lose money that month because you work the whole year. But in my case, that is part of what I'm doing. So it's got to be sustainable to make sense, right? I at least should be breaking even on my trips. What's good is regardless as to how much money you make on a trip, you get the same tax break when you file all your travel expenses on your taxes. So that's good. And it's actually pretty decent. So I keep that in mind as well. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like every once in a while I'll splurge. I'll do something crazy that'll never pay for itself. But overall, just to be sustainable, I have to kind of be careful. I don't have 1 million subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you to death, but that's just a reality. And I think I've always kind of tried to be a little bit frugal on these things as well. So it kind of suits my personality to take that approach. Nadi says, when are you going on holiday again? Less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, and I'll be gone for 3 weeks. 3 countries, 5 cities. I'm at like 7 or 8 hotels. I screwed it all up today, but it's going to be fun. Ali BHG says close to 90K. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit 90K when I'm overseas. Get me Estee Lauder beautiful perfume at the duty free. I don't buy things at the duty free. When I lived in Korea, whenever I would visit my parents, my dad smoked, I would always pick up like the maximum allowance of like random Korean cigarettes at the duty free for my dad. But that is it. I travel light. I don't buy anything if it's not a necessity. Oh, I did not hear that. Yeah, that sucks. Any
something towards the next adventure. Smiley face.
Upstate New York Bob, something towards the next adventure. Thank you, Upstate New York Bob. Thanks for your support and for always seeming to drop by these chats lately. Thanks again. I will definitely put that to good use. Tommy Serve says, any fun things to do in Toronto in June? Just found out yesterday you're going. Depends. I would definitely go to the islands. I don't know of any big events. There's probably going to be a street festival or 2 in June. Let me see here. Toronto FC versus Nashville SC. Stevie Nicks, Ed Sheeran. Toronto. Are there any big? There's the Toronto Jazz Festival going on. There's the Decadence Festival. Canada Day is at the end of the month. Italian Expat Picnic. Is there any... There's a lot of things going on. I would just Google events going on in Toronto just because this list is absolutely huge. When is Due West Fest? Due West Fest was pretty cool. Due West Fest is coming back June 9th, 10th, and 11th between Lansdowne Avenue along Dundas. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that. I would check that festival out. And then you'll know exactly what almost every other festival is like in the city. So I would do that. Jazz Fest is really neat too. I would check that out. Jeanette says TO Jazz Fest. There we go. One of your goals is to catch a baseball game at the Skydome. There'll be plenty of games at the Skydome, the newly renovated Skydome. It's in the first phase of its many renovations. I would check that out as well. Yeah, there's a lot of things to do. Just go to the islands. I would do that. In terms of like specific events, I don't know. I would just Google it. Chris Mill says baseball. Yes. Even if you're not a baseball fan, tickets are relatively inexpensive, especially in the upper deck. It's just like whenever you visit, like, I don't know. I always make it a point if I go to a city that has professional sports to see a professional sports game there, no matter what the sport is, what the city, like, I'll just go. When I went to Osaka, I saw a baseball game in the Osaka Dome. That was really cool. I've seen baseball games in the Tokyo Dome. I am kind of a baseball fan, but those experiences are amazing. So yeah, definitely go to the Skydome. The Jays' first game of the season is next Thursday. Awesome. I was watching a documentary today on a Blue Jay pitcher, Mark Eichhorn, a pitcher who is the most dominant pitcher in the history of baseball. I'm not kidding. He's got like the highest strikeout rate by far. He wasn't a knuckleballer, but his pitches never went over 75 miles per hour. He was just a freak show. He was a mid-reliever who would set up Tom Henke. So if you want to see a good story on him, look that up. It's on YouTube. It's pretty awesome. Bash Brannigan just arrived. We're in Kaohsiung in Taiwan, the biggest city to the south of Taipei. Randy C., I'm riding my fixie to Montreal from Toronto this September. Randy C., thank you for the 220. Fill us in on those adventures. Are you going to be posting?
I'm riding my fixie to MTL from Toronto this Sept.
Are you documenting that anywhere, like on Insta, YouTube? Don't say TikTok. Don't say TikTok, but TikTok. Like, are you documenting that? That would be really neat to see. And I'm assuming, the good news, if it's a fixie or single speed, very little maintenance, right? There's not a whole lot that can go wrong that you can't fix yourself. Also, I'm assuming you're pretty handy at patching a tire. Probably won't have a flat, but that would certainly suck if that happened. Mikey G says you should come to Philly. I'll take you to a Phillies game. Awesome. I was watching Alan Fisher's channel, the Armchair Urbanist, about Philly the other day, and I saw a travel vlog today of someone. That's what I did today. I literally watched YouTube all day and fucked around looking at hotels. I saw someone whose flight within the airport connected to a bus in Philly. They literally flew into Philly on American Airlines and transferred to a bus that drove off of the airport. They had to go to a boarding gate, the same as you would a plane, but instead of a plane, there was a friggin' bus park there. They got on the bus, and the bus drove to the airport in Atlantic City. I had never seen anything like that. I thought it was kind of cool. So that was a fun video that I watched. Bash Brannigan says, have you ever driven a real motorcycle? No, I have not. I've driven a scooter, a low CC scooter, but I don't even know what the specs were or anything like that. And no, I would not drive a motorcycle, at least not without proper training. There's a lot of stupid tourists who go to Thailand and rent a bike, and then they end up with pizza scars looking like shit. Sanjib, hey, I have a video request. Can you make a walking video? Dundas Station to Leslieville Market. What does Google suggest if I write Dundas Station, so that's Dundas Square. Leslieville Market. The Sunset Marketplace in Leslieville? That's the part that would also be like an hour and five and a half kilometer walk, Sanjib. I'll think about it. Again, if you do have a walking request, put it in the comments down below. Just detail, start to finish, and we'll give it a look. There are 2 YouTubers in Oslo, Norway who do walking videos. Oslo Elsa67 and Lost Rahi. Awesome. Do they do silent walking videos, or do they do the jibber jabber annoying talking kind like I do? And just so you know, this video has 19 minutes left. Now live on your channel, Friday Night Live, Lost Overseas Vids and Hangout. I don't know if these videos were lost. Maybe I mislabeled them. Alan talked about the King of Prussia line cancellation. He did. And why it was stupid to build a line to like a suburban shopping mall that was never going to be intensified. Something like that. Tommy Surf says, have you got to Soy Cowboy yet? Last time I was in Bangkok, my hotel, I was staying at the Continent Hotel in like a panorama room. Literally steps from Soy Cowboy. And the channel member and Patreon member video I did was a walk through Soy Cowboy. Also, if you go on, where is it? On my YouTube page, right on the front page here, videos. My 4th most watched video of all time is a walk through Soy Cowboy. 3 years ago, and it's got 324,000 views. And it is only partially monetized, by the way. So it doesn't make me any money, but that's my 4th most watched video. So yes, I've been there. Gertej says, how is Charlie? I haven't seen Charlie in quite a while. I'll have to get back to you on that. Roberto A says, why don't you try High Park Station to Fort York? What would be your suggested route? I would go... Parkside Drive might be a little boring to walk. Maybe take Bloor Street over to what? I did Dufferin recently. Ossington's not all that super interesting. Just kind of zigzag, make my way down to College, move over a little bit, and eventually... The east-west part is easy for that route, but something interesting north-south might be a bit of a challenge. But there's an idea, Roberto. Can you put that in the comments? I actually kind of like that idea. High Park Station to Fort York. And I would finish up... I guess I could do it to like the Garrison Crossing. And I could finish up like right at... I could then walk through there... Not the Garrison Crossing and the Bentway. And I could finish up at Bathurst and Fort York Boulevard. Janice Pike says, in cherry tree time. Cherry trees, I think they're blooming in May in Toronto. I think they're expected May. In Japan, they've already started to bloom. Korea will be, in a couple of weeks, they'll be in peak bloom in Korea. I think Japan is already there now. And then our cold-ass climate will be getting them, I think, in May, actually. This is something you see quite a lot in Taiwan, where like the sidewalk is kind of integrated into the businesses. So like it's literally part of the building, and you just kind of walk through this overhang area. Kind of crowded, but on a rainy day, I'm sure it's appreciated. I just remember when you're doing this, you're constantly walking on different surfaces, and some of them are like just tiles, and they're super slippery. Like, notice how I'm just like walking on normal ass tires here, and sometimes you'll be walking on something that's more like stone or more like a traditional sidewalk, and your feet will just kind of be sliding all over the place. YouTube is telling me now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads. The more viewers are watching, give it a try. No, I will not force you into watching ads. Novell Costa's Soy Cowboy. Never heard of it. Soy Cowboy was an American who, I think he had a bar in that area, and like it just kind of ended up turning into like this red light district. Now it's kind of like a tourist attraction. Well, I think, and you might think American Soy Cowboy, but I think it was actually like a black American in like the 70s or something. I'm not sure of the whole story behind that, but it's probably worth looking up. Does Taiwan have urban planning, or is it just chaos? It seemed to be a little better than Korea's, to be honest with you, at least in terms of like being pedestrian friendly. So I wouldn't call it chaos at all. Chaos is like Manila is chaos. There's a city that is just pure chaos in terms of planning and being pedestrian friendly or not. And here, sometimes you have the sidewalk and you have the option of like walking through the businesses like that, like you see on the right there. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes like the street goes right up to that. Vivian Johnson, thumbs up for Johnny, please, and thanks so much if done already. Yes, I already spilled beer all over myself and had to change my clothes. Thank you, Vivian, for the reminder, for the thumbs up. Tomorrow's video, I think I'm going to do a transit ride. I did a ride on a streetcar, a narrated ride on a streetcar. So I think I'm going to post that up tomorrow. Jeanette says, got that right. Manila is chaos. You don't even know where to walk in Manila. Like when you're a pedestrian, like 1 minute you're on like a sidewalk, the next minute you're on a street, the next minute you're like standing in a giant pothole. Like it's pretty awesome. It's definitely cool to experience, but it's not built for pedestrians at all. Johnny Strides, Chandam's Fashion in Little India is where the CBC Bollywood series is being filmed. Neat information there. Roberto says, what season do you enjoy more? I like them all, but for like my YouTube purposes, I kind of like winter the best because we get the snowstorms. Those do well. Those streams do well. My videos do well. And then on top of that, I tend to go away to like warm and sunny places. Like I was in Thailand in October, kind of the end of fall, and then Dominican. And now I'm going away again. So although I guess we're back to spring, but I'm going to say in terms of like work, I like winter. But personally, I think fall is kind of perfect. Upstate New York Bob says, I think Henry might be live streaming a path tour tomorrow, FYI, because of the rain. I've tried live streaming the path, and it's very hit or miss. Because you're underground for a lot, you don't have a very good connection. So I'll be very curious to see. If I were Henry, I would probably try like a 720p lower bitrate stream, just because I don't think he's going to be able to hold a good connection down on the path. I tried doing that once. I streamed south. I went down through Queen's Park, and we ended up in the path. Velcos says, the sidewalk in the building reminds you of part of the Esplanade. Oh, right around the Novotel, right near Young and the Esplanade. Yeah, you're right on that one. Janice Pike says, good night. See you all in the morning. See you, Janice. You've had enough of watching a guy who can't keep his beer off his lap. Thanks for tuning in. Bit of an off day for me, but I wanted to do something. It's a Friday. I like to go out and record on Fridays. I like to explore the city on Friday nights, but I just had nothing today. Do you plan to visit Saskatchewan or Manitoba? Realistically, I don't have any plans, but if like a cheap flight to like Regina or Saskatoon or the Peg pops up, I'll be very tempted to take it. But realistically, Alberta or BC, I'm far more likely to go to. I think Vancouver or Calgary specific are going to be on the menu for this year. And there's some viewers out that way too, so hopefully we can run into some friendly folks while I'm out there. I know Ken did Vancouver somewhat recently, but it's a big city. Marge says, remember Montreal? Cheap flight. Yeah, I got kind of screwed on that. But it was still fun. It was a good trip. I got a lot of good videos out of it. We had a really good live stream. I learned my lesson about not bringing boots to Montreal in the winter. Yes, Shifter, he did a collaboration with Not Just Bikes before as well. He's a big YouTuber in Alberta. Vivian Johnson says, Johnny, think I'll say goodnight also, and to all the chat friends, see you in the morning. 9 a.m. EST. Vivian, thank you for your support. Yeah, I know we're pushing it a bit late tonight. It would be awesome if you streamed in the Yukon. Will the connection be good enough to stream in the Yukon, Roberto? But that would be kind of neat. Upstate really enjoyed my walk around Old Montreal. Thank you. A lot of people from Montreal didn't enjoy it because they were like, you didn't talk about this, you didn't talk about that. You know, like, one of the first things I said in that video was like, I'm just a tourist here. This isn't going to be the most informative walk you've ever seen. Andrew is here. All right, good night, Vivian. Thanks for popping in. And I think when this video ends, I'll be turning in for the night as well. So we've got about a little less than 10 minutes left. Even Gurdeep Pander, who does Bhangra dancing videos, lives in the Yukon. Neat. There's a YouTuber up in the Yukon. Colleen is here. Devin Sullivan here. Maroof is here. I saw Maroof in one of Henry's live streams recently. Gertej says, when was this video? This video was from like 2018. Upstate New York, Bob, heading off for the night. Hope to join in tomorrow morning's video. Thanks, Johnny Strides, for a nice chat. Thank you, Upstate New York, Bob. Again, I will probably not be live streaming tomorrow. And probably doing a Sunday night live. As long as I'm feeling up to it on Sunday night. And then maybe Monday or Tuesday morning, I think I'm going to do a live stream. And then I'll do like weekday and afternoon live streams a few more times next week. But I don't normally schedule that stuff. Ali BHG says, would you ever go to Australia? Yes. Wow, this sign is like epilepsy inducing. Look at it. How is that even allowed to have a sign like that? Yeah, I'd love to go to Australia. It looks pretty awesome. Marge says, sunrise. What you guys don't know about this video is... Should I tell you a secret about this video? This video has a secret. I did not go to Taiwan alone. There is a person walking behind me for this entire video. And I'm like, shh, don't talk. And don't be loud. We don't want to hear your footsteps. So they're walking like 30, 40 feet behind me. What an asshole travel mate I am. I was like, hey, you can just go chill at the hotel or go do whatever you want. But they wanted to follow me, so the secret is out. I remember this being like super awkward because I'm not sure this person was too happy with me, but whatever. Johnny's story, I was late. You had to break your fast, then pray. No worries, Maroof. Gotta always take care of yourself first. Then, of course, head straight to the stream. Bash Brannigan says, a guy or a girl, I may ask. It was a she. And she was behind me. And I was like, sorry. Shane says they didn't want to explore on their own. I don't know. I was just like, I want to make a video. My YouTube channel was new. I wasn't even monetized at this point. Like, this was not a trip I took to make videos. This was all brand new to me. And I was just traveling with a friend. And I was like, okay, let's make some videos. Marge says, I'd tell you where to go. And I didn't even upload the video. I didn't even use it. Like, I think this might be the first we're seeing it on the on the channel. So I made this person follow me around for no reason for like 45 minutes at night on a trip. Awesome. Sapan says, do you plan to visit Halifax, Nova Scotia one day? I don't know. Sapan, if a really good deal comes up, I'm sure we'll make it out to the East Coast. There's Halifax. St. John's would be kind of cool. There's also like Maine, like the USA kind of East Coast, really far east, I think would be kind of neat. In terms of Canada, I'm playing it by ear. I'm waiting until like a crazy cheap flight pops up, and that's gonna dictate where and when I go. GD Kid says, have you ever been to mainland China? I'm assuming this is Taipei. This is actually Kaohsiung. I've been to Shanghai, and I've transited through Beijing. I've been to Hong Kong, which wasn't China when I went there. Well, you know, it was supposedly its own territory for the remainder of the 50 years, but now it's very much China, so I don't know if you would count Hong Kong, although I guess it's not mainland. But yeah, really just Shanghai, that's it. Nowhere else other than airports. Neil says, hi Johnny, new to your channel and really enjoy it. I met Morgan Freeman on the subway once when I was there. A great city. Holy shit, you met one of the top 2 narration voices of all time on the subway in Toronto. That is awesome. I'm assuming he was riding with people. I can't picture like Morgan Freeman riding around a lot. I think on my last live stream I mentioned I would love to hear like a documentary narrated by Morgan Freeman and David Attenborough together. Connie says, I love the old Hong Kong. Hong Kong is awesome. I don't know if it still is awesome, but it was awesome when I went. The last thing you want to be doing is walking around a surveillance state with like a camera documenting stuff as a foreigner. So I don't think I'll be going to China anytime. I don't think you're going to see any Westerners doing walking videos. Pretty sure the police would like confiscate your shit like right away. That's one country that's very much a no-go for this. Connie says, not now, but the old Hong Kong. Hong Kong is awesome, and I used to go out of my way to like have a longer layover when I flew with Cathay Pacific, because in the Hong Kong airport you could leave your bag in a locker and literally hop on a train and you'd be in like the heart of the city in no time. So if you had like a 6-7 hour layover, like running into Hong Kong is awesome. Connie loves Australia too. I'm a country bumpkin, but I love your vids. Thank you, Kelly. Neil says he was by himself and actually didn't want to be bothered. That makes me wonder, are you sure it was Morgan Freeman? Just kidding.
English.
Jacqueline says, also in the past they wanted people who are white-skinned and have blonde hair and blue eyes to teach English in Korea, not brown hair, brown eyes.
2.
Unfortunately, what a lot of us noticed is in like the more desirable teaching posts in Seoul, you would get people who kind of looked more like that. It was pretty blatant discrimination. The people that taught jobs in like the countryside that nobody really wanted, or in like shitty parts of the city, weren't people who met that description. So you're pretty right, Jacqueline. That's something I certainly noticed when I went there. I like went to the school I taught at in Gangnam. I'm like, everyone here is like an effing supermodel. There's just these dudes that are ripped and they look like GQ models, and all the girls are like blonde haired, blue eyed. Everyone's like really good looking. Like, how the hell, why did they hire me? And then you're like, did they just hire these people? Because we all it was kind of like a rich neighborhood, and like we were catering to very, very wealthy parents, to the point where like all the moms were stay-at-home moms. So they would like come to school all day and like watch you teach. But yeah, they were hiring people based on appearance before ability at that school. Again, I have no idea how the hell I got hired to work there, but pretty obvious. And I'm pretty sure that shit still goes on in Korea. David Elliott says goodbye. Be good, Johnny. Thank you, David Elliott. Or Dave Elliott. I will try to be good. Can you be a Dave and it's not short form for David? I don't know. Laura says, night, y'all. See you on Sunday. Jacqueline says, someone who looks European. And they even went as far as preferring like Canadian accents. They wanted that sort of neutral English. So if you were like from the deep south in the US, or you just had like a heavy accent, that was also like less desirable. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm tired out of my mind, so I'm probably going to go get some rest. I'll be premiering a video tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. EST on this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. This might be the last Friday night live from home for a few weeks. I'm probably going to go out and do a live stream in the real world next week. But thanks to everyone who sent support. Thanks to everyone who liked, subscribed, and just chatted and hung out. Thanks to our mods or channel members. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks, guys. I will catch you on the next one. Yoink. All right, Brad Palmer. Good night. You're the last person I say good night to. Yoink.